Merry Christmas from Citychurch. Today we want to tell the story of hope and take you along with us so that you can experience a month of ministry at Citychurch. Today we're going to lead you through our month of December. We had over 1,500 children that were ministered to. Over 600 volunteers were trained and involved, parents with their children, young people from schools and civic groups. It was a wonderful month. So today we want to simply take you along with us and kind of show you the footage and let you experience the joy of Christmas. Today, we welcome the kindergarten class from San Jacinto Christian Academy.
We're going to have a fun time today.
The children know Valmir and we have the privilege of leading them in kindergarten chapel once a week. Today, they're our special guests. They had to see the sanctuary. They didn't believe Citychurch was a real church until they could see where they put the musical instruments. But we started off our morning getting ready to decorate our Christmas tree here in our cafe.
All right. Good to see y'all.
Today we began by serving the hot cocoa, and we had some donuts for the kiddos. These little ones were our youngest group, and so they were our special guests. Along with the young kindergarten children, the older students came along with them from middle and high school so that they could help the children as they volunteered together to serve at Citychurch.
If you're a family that's living in a neighborhood where maybe you've had churches that have closed their doors or moved out, and there hadn't been a new church planted in a very long time. If you're a single mother and you don't have clothes to wear to church, you might not even have black shoes. You might just be wearing flip-flops most of the time. If you're a child and you don't have any way to get to church, Citychurch is your kind of place. And today, you're going to be a part of doing something that is really needed and it's real practical. You're going to be a part of providing Christmas for a child who otherwise would just not have anything for Christmas.
We're grateful because we really do need the help of these students. When we began our Christmas project, we had planned on serving the needs of around 500 children, but that soon ballooned to over 1,500. And so we were so glad to have the whole student body, group by group, come from San Jacinto Christian Academy so that we could prepare the children's Christmas gifts for them. At the heart of a Citychurch, there's a commitment that whatever we do, we should be able to take our children along with us. The whole purpose of Citychurch is to be that mission access point for families where they can come and serve together as a family. So we were glad that the children were there, but their parents were there with them. The decorations were important, not just for the services that Citychurch will have in this cafe during the Christmas season, but also for the 6 different Christmas parties that Citychurch has planned to accommodate the 1,500 children that will be receiving gifts this year. was amazing how patient the children were as they worked with their parents and with our City Church staff. Over in our outreach building, the older students were preparing by filling the gifts that each child will receive. At Citychurch, as we signed the children up, we learned that personal information, the things that were important to them, their ages, of course their genders and things like that, but also what their interests were. And then during our time of orientation, we were able to prepare each group so that they would know how to go shopping for the children. It was like they had a shopping spree for each child. Once the children arrived in the outreach building, they were paired up with the older students.
Boxes. We're going to do separate, like you talked about. We'll have bags that have the blankets and the socks and gloves and all the hygiene stuff, but that'll be separate. We're not working on it today. Today we're just doing toys.
This arrangement worked out well. The parents, the older students, could help the younger ones get involved. And they were able to go where the toys were on the shelves and do some shopping. They were careful because each child knew exactly who they were shopping for. This year, Citychurch took the leadership role with Toys for Tots, and we were so grateful to be able to work with this established nonprofit. This year, as they shopped, the children were able to gather up the gifts for each individual child in a white plastic bag, and then they would attach the child's name on a tag and their family name to their bag. And then once the child's gifts were all collected, their individual bags were joined together and they were combined as a family, so that when we prepared the gifts to deliver to the parents, everything was done in an orderly way. Of course, prayer is very important, and after the children were able to pick out the gifts for those that they were serving, they prayed for them and prayed that God would bless their Christmas. Soon after the kindergarten children left, Another group of students came in. These are the second graders from San Jacinto Christian Academy. Each morning, City Church would host 2 large groups and then another 2 in the afternoon. So for a couple of weeks, it was pretty intense, but we were grateful to have the help, and it gave us opportunities to have orientations and training times with each group. As toys were bagged up and chosen for the children, there was a need to restock the shelves, and so we were grateful for the older students and teachers that helped us be very deliberate and orderly in the way that we had to account for the donations, but also see to it that they were restocked in a way and organized so that other volunteers could find them and get the children taken care of. Along with the toys, many of our children also received hats, gloves, blankets, all those things that provide comfort, hygiene items, shampoo, soap, lotion, those things that are just needed to be comfortable during Christmas. Out of the 1,500 that City Church helped with toys, there was a group of around 500 that experienced intense need. It was those children that we tried to focus those comfort items for. You might expect when a child is presented with so many toys in one place that they might be distracted, or maybe they would be thinking of themselves or what they might want. But it was amazing how focused these young children were on meeting the needs of those that they were serving and that they were shopping for. It was like their mind was not on themselves at all. In fact, they began to compete with one another to see who could find the best gifts and take care of the most children. You know, the children are very helpful, but these are the kinds of things that also help them make a memory.
I'm gonna put this down right here. Clippers or something? What are these ones? Because they're small. Should we do? Should we do be small? Should we do cookie edition or fish edition?
Or girl one. She's a girl.
Many of the children that City Church serves, they don't have adequate bedding, and so we're so grateful for the ladies in the all over the Panhandle that have been making either crocheted blankets or handmade quilts for the children. Each child who received a gift received a large toy, also a few medium-sized toys, and then a whole lot of stocking stuffers. Many of the older student volunteers first came and volunteered at Citychurch themselves when they were in elementary school. It was really cool to see them take the time to take care of the younger ones. We're also grateful for all the parents who were so deliberate and careful in helping us restock our shelves, take inventory. Even as toy deliveries were showing up in the back door, they were carrying them out the front. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, and makeup.
After the children shopped, each bag was checked and then sealed up so that it could be ready to deliver to each child. I'd like to take a moment just to talk to you about how Citychurch is financially supported. You know, everything you see that's taking place is made possible through many just private donations from faithful supporters. You know, there's no government money involved, and there's no nonprofit that is swooping in and reimbursing Citychurch for the resources that we're investing in the kiddos. Everything you see was given by someone who cares, whether it was through Toys for Tots or through Citychurch. Everything was provided through private donations. And you might say, well, how can I be involved? Or you might ask yourself how you can give. Citychurch has a website at citychurchamarillo.com, and it's a great place for you to become part of supporting mission work here in Amarillo, Texas. But not only here, but also this whole region. Citychurch cooperates 12 months out of the year with local civic groups, student groups, schools, and churches to accomplish the work that's needed when we care for the needs of children who have been forgotten or neglected spiritually. In fact, during this time of year, you might take a moment with your family or group of friends and consider what you might be able to do to help Citychurch continue to meet the needs of these sweet kids. Yeah, over the Christmas holidays, Citychurch has identified and worked with over 1,500 children, and many of these we have known. We feed them in the neighborhoods during the summer months or during the spring, but long after Christmas is over, Citychurch is going to continue to be involved in the lives of these children. It was good that among all the work, there was a little bit of time for goofing off.
They want to try slower. You can go like this. Did you sign up for the JJ already?
Put it in the thing.
Okay.
Wait, no, imagine we go like this.
How old is she?
Along with the student volunteers, our church members also helped us host the different groups and just facilitate the logistics of this Christmas project. As one group of students would finish up and leave, another would arrive and we would prepare for another group orientation. We're especially grateful this year to Pantex, who gathered up all of the bicycles for Toys for Tots. They not only help the needs of City Church, but also other groups and churches here in Amarillo and in the Panhandle. Altogether, they collected over 200 bicycles. Is incredibly generous. We want to thank all of the employees that for weeks gathered up these brand new bicycles. We also want to thank Tyson Foods and D King Trucking for just remembering City Church during this time of year. We have so much food going out the door. All of the children and their families were fed at 6 different Christmas parties, and we were grateful to have the donation of fresh meat from Tyson so that we could feed our families fresh food. Earlier in the year, our walk-in freezer, it's large, 10 by 12 foot, aged out, and the compressor unit was no longer working, and we had to replace our freezer. And we're so grateful for the folks that stepped in, whether it was through private donations or churches, who helped us deal with it. On days like today, when we have large donations like this that need to be frozen, we are so grateful that we have that capacity. It allows us to distribute the food and share it with other nonprofits and churches. It also allows us to store it until we can cook it and serve it to families. And the things that we can do with this are just amazing. The food that we can serve is fresh rather than processed. And it really is a blessing during this time of year when we have so much food being served out of the cafe. We also want to thank Ambucks for donating our turkeys. This year, Ambucks donated over 60 turkeys for our Thanksgiving dinner so that we could not only cook for our families, but also help provide them with the means to celebrate Thanksgiving in their own homes together. It was incredibly generous and thoughtful. This is something they've done for years. This Christmas, City Church hosted over 600 young people who came to volunteer in different schools, youth groups, churches, civic groups. Today, we are hosting Teen Leadership Amarillo. They're just a wonderful group of volunteers. They are helping us prepare and decorate our sacks that we will use. And inside of these sacks during our Christmas party will be the sandwiches, the candy, the fruit that the children will receive. And so in order to make these bags special and personalize them, we were grateful to the students who took the time to help us decorate them. Teen Leadership is such an important organization. It exposes them to the different leaders in our community and organizations in our community that help Amarillo function. And whether they were helping us with the gifts or in the kitchen or in the cafe, they spent all day with City Church. And just hours before our first Christmas party, they were so useful. Those students not serving in the kitchen were over in our outreach building, continuing to fill our special intense need bags. And these again are the bags that hold those care items that provide comfort and rest for those children that might have more intense need. And then of course, along with the toys, they also added art supplies, books, and puzzles. sandwiches that were to be served later that day to our children were incredible. Our head chef and a pastor of Citychurch in Espanol and his wife Lazaro and Maria Garcia headed up this work, and this day they were making fresh ham and cheese sandwiches with an avocado dressing on a beautiful cornbread. It was just an amazing food that everyone enjoyed. It's a blessing to be able to serve fresh food that's not been processed to our people. This is something that would be very expensive and difficult logistically to feed them in a restaurant. In the cafe, the preparations are being made for the Christmas party. Each evening, Citychurch would prepare 900 sandwiches. You can imagine that the logistics of preparing that food in such a way that it's tasty and fresh and perfectly prepared is no small task. And as the party got underway, Santa Claus and the Grinch were ready. Families began to come early in the evening. Each evening, Citychurch would hold 2 separate Christmas parties, one at 5 and one at 7. And the families who would attend had an opportunity to go online at citychurchamarillo.com and reserve and pre-register their families. So when they came, we were prepared for them. Each family would sign in, we would take care of them and already begin to prepare their gifts for the children. We had time in the cafe, time in the sanctuary, and people were able to mingle. They were able to enjoy the food, take pictures with the Grinch or with Santa Claus. It was just a beautiful evening. Citychurch, we have a principle that we offer help with hope, and meaning that with the help of the gifts and the food and the time comes the hope of the gospel. And we were so grateful to be able to share with the families that God had not forgotten them, that Jesus loves them, and to be able to just to plainly and practically and simply share with them how they can know Jesus Christ themselves. Each square foot of our property was fully utilized. We ran at capacity. Each Christmas party hosted over 300 people. We were so grateful that it ran as smooth as it did. One of the things you might notice is that there's a lot of parents. Over the past year, Citychurch has focused on family ministry and trying to turn that corner to involve the whole family. We start with the children by loving them and earning their trust, but we don't end there. Our desire is that mothers and fathers can attend and worship together, grow together. It was wonderful to see the mothers and fathers respond and enjoy the Christmas party as much as the children. Boy, again, we are so grateful for the volunteers and those that come to serve at Citychurch. You might want to serve, and you might not realize that you don't have to be a member of Citychurch in order to volunteer or to help. You can come and be a missionary for an evening with your family, and you can serve the Lord and make an impact in the life of a child. you don't have to attend City Church on Sunday mornings in order to do that. In fact, City Church cooperates with over 40 different area churches. I want to take a moment to thank the Amarillo Roofers Association. They gave a generous gift that helped us fund these parties that accommodated all of the hundreds of children that received gifts. You know, without partners like this, this type of work just would not be possible. As a pastor, when I see this many families, I just get excited because I know that some of these folks we know, but many we do not. And this was a great opportunity to meet so many new parents and children that otherwise we would have never known. They had fun together, they ate together, we fellowshiped together. And you know, long after Christmas, City Church is going to continue in the neighborhoods. And now we know who these families are and how to reach out to them and care for their needs, not just during an event during Christmas, but 12 months out of the year. This is really something that is very, very important and one of the core values that we have at City Church. From the very first day that City Church was planted, we've had a fundamental belief that every child has a right to hear about Jesus. And the gospel should be as free and easy and available to every child as the air we breathe.
In that while we were sinners, Christ died for us. I'll tell you what, Christ died for me 2,000 years ago. He died for you 2,000 years ago. I wasn't even alive then. But because he was God, he was aware. He was aware of every day of my life. He was aware of all the good. He was aware of all the bad. He was aware of the stuff I'm proud of, the stuff I'm ashamed of. You know, I don't know when it was during the life of Christ. I think maybe it was right before he was crucified that God held up my life in front of him, and he had to decide if I was worth dying for. And God said, I'm going to prove how powerful my love is. I will die for him, but I'm going to die for him not knowing the best part about him. I'm going to die knowing the worst. And he did the same for you.
God's gift of forgiveness is a gift. He gives it, and we have an opportunity to receive it. And that evening, we offered that gift of forgiveness to everyone who was there. I asked them as we sang Silent Night together if, as a testimony, if they had made a decision to confess Christ as their Lord and Savior, if they would just hold their phone up and simply shine the light on their phone as a testimony to those around them. And I was shocked to see how many people held up their phones and let those around them know that they had accepted Christ. Many came up to us during the evening, in the later part of the evening, and shared with us. And many parents were very encouraged to be there with us. Many children gave their hearts to the Lord. And we have a lot of follow-up to do in the coming weeks and months. I just want to thank those of you that give to City Church, that support the work here, that make this kind of ministry possible. I want to tell you, it was totally unique, and the Lord really moved in power. It was one of the most rewarding times of ministry that I've ever had at City Church.